And so do we. The shift has moved from the west to the east. We must accept that. It has happened. China, India, the Asian tigers, they are the ones that are showing the growth and the dynamic movement forward. They are the ones who have invested in human resources. They are the ones who are building their countries. Very likely, that area of the world might be the leader in terms of taking out of this serious recession that we are in. Now, if this is the case, and if we are aware of this, I will dare say that we, as a Caribbean, and we, as citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, will need to review our own strategies. Our own strategies in terms of how we do business, with whom we do business, and the kind of business that we do. We have to look at it understanding that the shift has taken place, and while we are juxtaposed to the United States of America, and while it is acceptable that we will continue to do business with the Western world, that there are other areas of opportunity, not only in the Far East, but in South America, in Africa, in other parts of the world. And so I'm saying this because I want all of us, as citizens of this country, to get into this mindset, or to shift our mindset even as we are talking about opportunities, to understand that the world is not as small as we make it, and that the world is not as we see it, but that there are changes have taken place, and there are opportunities out there for us, and we should take advantage of the opportunities. If I dare say, many of these countries have a similar history, a similar experience with colonialism, a similar experience of domination from the Western world. And many of them may very well have sympathies for us because they have the understanding of what we all have experienced over the past 300 years. And so it is for us then to move in new directions and to take advantage of new opportunities. I want to say that from a Nevis point of view, we see that in this position that we are in, we have to identify areas of growth. We have spoken about wind power and geothermal in the past. I want to say that we have now reached a stage where, in terms of wind energy, we are benefiting in terms of real power into our electricity grid from the wind turbines that have been built on the island of Nevis. We have had our ups and downs with geothermal energy because of the challenges, the financial challenges. But we have reached a point now where it is very likely that we will be able to develop the Nevis end of the geothermal project first, and then in collaboration with the federal government, we are hoping that the relevant departments in the ministry on St. Kitts will work with us so that the whole federation can benefit from geothermal energy. My hope, and I know the hope of the Prime Minister, is that we can be the first green nation in the Western Hemisphere. And I believe that it is more than a possibility. It is very likely to happen in the next 3 years. I would want to say that I know sometimes people are skeptical about these new things. But just like the private sector, governments understand the need for funds. We understand the need for savings, and we understand the need for cooperation. It is for us to tell our citizens, both in Nevis and St. Kitts, that we may want to argue, and we may want to fight, and we may want to dialogue, but it makes sense to cooperate because everybody else is cooperating all over the world. If the whole world can cooperate, why 45,000 people cannot cooperate? I myself have 4 children. I have 4 children, and when I ask them where they were born, one says that she was born in St. Kitts. So she's a Kittitian. So I have 3 Nevisians and 1 Kittitian in my family. What am I going to do about it? That is the way it is. Now, I want to say as well that in addition to geothermal, we have done great work with the help of the Prime Minister and his cabinet to restore the Four Seasons. It was very fortunate that the storm left the Four Seasons alone this time, and we are praying that the other storms coming to the Caribbean will do the same. If this is the case, shortly the Four Seasons will reopen, and it will make a difference for all of us in St. Kitts and Nevis. But it is not enough to depend on one hotel. You have to diversify. You have to look for other opportunities, and we see opportunities in the Amman Hotel, with which we are working at the moment. We see opportunities in having a marina. We see opportunities in having a shopping center. We see opportunities in making sure that even if one part of the tourism product is affected, that all the parts are not. And so we are pushing forward, and we are pushing forward with vigor in that direction. We are looking at agriculture, and we are looking at using technology to make the changes in agriculture. And I must say it is very good to see that young people once again have taken a renewed interest in agriculture. We have areas like New River, Kids Bay, Indian Castle, and we have been working very closely with the government of Taiwan, using the drip process, using irrigation, providing water, assisting farmers with marketing, making sure that we can not only provide ourselves with a variety of food, but that we can also provide the hotels with food. Why should they import food when they can have fresh food from St. Kitts or from Nevis? That strengthens us, it strengthens the economy, provides more of the tourism dollar for us in these parts. In fact, there's something known as the Nevis model, and that is exactly what I'm talking about here this morning. Making sure that we retain as much of every dollar as we can in the economy, thereby providing jobs and creating even greater economic independence for all of us. The financial services industry. Many of you have heard about the struggles that I'm having because I seem to be restless, because I seem to be unhappy with the status quo, because I seem to be unable to accept stagnation. It seems to be a problem for many people. What we need to understand in these parts is that there will always be interests, vested interests in your country who feel happy with what's taking place in your country. The people of the country may not be doing well, but they will be doing well, and so they're fine. And because they're fine, there must be no change. Well, as a Caribbean person, I can't stand for that. I wonder, why did we go to the University of the West Indies if this is what we are going to accept? I find it very insulting as a division and as a Caribbean person that people should dare to tell me that I can't make changes in my own country in the interest of the people of my country. What I find frightening, though, is that the people who need the most help, the very people who you wish to help, are the people who are often used against you to prevent change. And that is a sad thing in these islands. And it is something that we need to do something about. We need to put a stop to it. You can't have the poor remaining poor because they're being fooled into believing they're not poor. They're poor. And they're poor because of the status quo. They should be the first to want the status quo to change. And so I'm fighting with the financial services industry because we have one major company on Nevis that is happy, with some other little people fooling themselves into thinking they're happy, thinking that they're doing well, when they're certainly not doing well. And as I said, change must come. Change must come. There are opportunities there. United States of America and Europe will not rest until they kill the financial services industry for their own benefits, for their own interests. They have to look after themselves. So all we have to do as well is to look after ourselves, and there are areas of opportunity in the Far East, in China, in India, in the Middle East, and we should go there.